Hey everyone, how's it going? I hope everyone has had an excellent week. My week's been pretty good, pretty busy as always. The kids are kind of wrapping up school for the year, so lots of exciting stuff going on for them. And my son's graduating from daycare, going to kindergarten next year. Can't wait for that. So it's just been kind of a celebratory week in the Baxter household. So that's always fun, enjoying the weather, enjoying the summer, all that fun stuff. So I hope everyone else has had a good week. Um, Today's video, I wanted to talk a little bit about something related to exercise this week. So kind of switching it up. I was thinking a little bit about um, the way I coach certain people, and I want to you know, uh, disseminate some of this information to my wider audience, because I think it's kind of valuable. So oftentimes, when we're exercising, if we want to improve our fitness, etc., right, we need to challenge ourselves in new ways, right? And lots of times, traditionally people would think about if you're doing like cardiovascular exercise, you might, do it for a longer duration. You might do it at a higher intensity. You might, do uh, more resistance while you're cardiovascular. But during the cardiovascular exercise, for example, you could do um, if you're used to doing regular sprints, you could do sprints up a hill, right? So there's lots of different ways cardiovascularly to challenge yourself and progress your fitness. If you're doing resistance training, it might be, um, increasing the amount of weight you're using on a specific exercise, or it might be increasing the number of reps that you're doing, etc. Right? Um, but one of the levers that I think people kind of often overlook when they think about resistance training comes to the duration of their workout. And so you can challenge yourself by adding more weight, or you can challenge yourself by keeping the weight the same and adding more reps, or you can challenge yourself in your resistance training exercise by um, doing the same weight and reps, but doing it in less amount of time, right? So you're condensing the amount of work, or you're doing the same amount of work in less time. And this is something that's referred to as density. So it's like I said, the amount of work that you're doing in a given period of time. And generally, I see people fall into kind of two camps when it comes to density in their resistance training exercise. There's people who just like fly through from one exercise to the next. So they'll do their push-ups, and then immediately they're into their rows, and then immediately they're into their bench press and or whatever. Right? I just said two pressing up exercises in the same sentence there, but you get the point. They kind of just go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. They never stop. They never take a break. They rest periods are not a thing for them, and they go very quickly. And then other people do the opposite, and they might take minutes between each exercise, right? And not to be sexist or anything, but generally men will rest longer and women will rest shorter. And so that's just generally what I observe, but I'm not saying it's a male or female trait, just generally how I observe things. So I like to challenge people in two different ways, right? And actually extend, if you're the person who is not resting a lot in between their exercises, I will challenge them to rest a lot, right? And you might say, well, that's making it easier. Not necessarily, right? I basically, by having them rest more in between their exercises and extending the density and pushing it out, I'm allowing them to perhaps move more weight over time, right? So the problem with shorter rest periods is you fatigue a lot quicker, right? And so if you're resting a long period of time between sets and reps, or sets of exercises that you're doing, then you're able to you rest a little bit more. You're able to come back and move a little bit more weight than you were if you didn't, at a better quality, right? Whereas the person who's resting forever, what I'm going to do with them is I'm going to challenge them to not rest and still move the same amount of weight and the same amount of volume and the same amount of reps, in a shorter period of time, right? And so I'm challenging their muscles by, fatiguing them a little bit quicker. So for both persons, right, these are just novel adaptations, right? They're used to either resting a long period of time or not, and so I'm challenging them by either extending their rest periods out and moving, lifting more weight, or um, shortening their rest periods and still maintaining the same amount of weight and volume that they were doing before. And that's one way to overload yourself, to make gains, to make progress, to build muscle, to build lean mass, and to just become a fitter individual. So that's something that I think if you know that you're someone that doesn't rest a lot or someone that rests a lot, right? You're kind of stick to these rest periods that are comfortable to you. Challenge yourself and extend them out or condense them, and see if that makes helps you make progress in the gym with your fitness and exercise. That's all I got for this week. I hope everyone has a good weekend and does something fun. And I will talk to everyone next week.